Hello everybody and welcome to my 18th VBA 2010 tutorial. This tutorial is going to go into using arrays. So arrays can be a bit of a tricky concept to get your head around, but once you understand them well, then they're really useful, and once you get into more advanced programming techniques, they become really essential. So an array is a group of variables. So where a variable you just have, say, dim ava as integer. So you just have a variable and it's one piece of data stored in memory of your computer. So an array is slightly different. It's a group of variables all stored in the same place within the memory of your computer, but it's kind of split out into a sort of grid in your computer with indexes so that you can reference them. So the easiest way to show you is probably just to get going and start writing them and then explain them as we go along. So the first thing I'm going to show you is how to do just a one-dimensional array. So this is just going to be essentially a list of variables, but they're all going to be linked together. So I'm going to put dim, and you still do them exactly the same way you start off a normal variable. So dim, and then I'm going to call it my array, and then you just need to put an open bracket and a closed bracket, and in that bracket we're going to put how many items we want in our array. An important thing to remember is that the number of items that you put in here in your array is going to be one less than there actually are. So if I put 3, there's actually going to be 4 items in our list. But the reason for that is our indexing starts at 0. So the first element of your array in that list is going to be called 0. And then you're going to get 1, and then you get 2, and then you get 3. So if we put myArray3, that's going to give us 4 variables to work with. And then again, same as a normal variable, you just put as, and then you're going to put your variable type. So I'm going to declare mine as double. And that's it. So now we've created our first array. It's going to have 4 elements within it, and it's just one-dimensional. So in order to start using this, it's quite easy. So if we want to reference the first element of our array, then we're just going to put my array, and then you put the open brackets again, and then you put in the index of the element you want to go for. So I want to go for the first one, which is 0, and that's it. And then that is essentially just using one variable, and it's not a completely separate variable. That's just one variable, and then we can do the same things that we do with normal ones with it. So I'm going to put it equal to 10, and then I'm going to make my array and then 1. So that's going to be the second element in our array, and I'm going to make that equal to 15, and then my array 2 equal to 20, and my array 3 equal to 13. And then we can work with them the same way that we do with variables. So I'm going to add them all together. So my array 0 equals my array 1 plus. Let's just get rid of 3 quickly. So we'll make my array 3 equal to the other ones in the array. So delete that. So my array 3 equals my array 0 plus my array 1 plus my array 2. And then I'm just going to write out my array 3 in a message box. So you can see here, so I'm setting the first element, the second element, and the third element, and then the fourth element in the array indexed by the number 3 is just going to be the sum of all the other ones. So if we press play here, and then you'll notice come out with 45, so that's just 10 plus 20 plus 15. So you might be thinking, what happens if I go one further? So let's try and do my array 4, and let's set it to 60, and then let's press play, and then you're going to get an error message because you've said that this array only has 4 elements, and essentially it only goes up to index 3, and so when you try and go to index 4, it's gonna error in your program. So you want to make sure that you get your array size right at the beginning. So next I'm just going to show you two-dimensional arrays. So let's just create a new sub down here. So there we go. I can get rid of that. So let's call the sub Sandy. Sans is my surname, so some people call me Sandy. So we're going to put in a two-dimensional array. So let's dim my array again. And it's a different sub, so it's not going to be the same as this one. It's creating a different scoped version of my array. Let's actually call it dim my second array. And then to do a two-dimensional one, so I'm still going to have 3 going up to index 3. So it'll have 4 elements, and then I'm going to put a comma, and then I'm also going to put another 3 and close this off, and then as double. And then what this is doing is it's giving us our references kind of like, so it's giving us a list of 4 elements, but then it's also giving us 4 indexes across the top. It's going to give us 0 to 3 indexes across the top, so it's essentially now a grid of squares. So in order to reference these, we're just going to go my second array, and then 1, and then comma 0, and equals 10. So this here now, so we've put in the second element down and the first element across. And you don't need to think of it as down and across, because that's not actually how it does it in physical storage, but as a concept that makes it a lot easier to understand. So this is how many elements down, this is how many elements across, or the index of your element across. And then you can just keep doing that. So my second array 0, 0, make sure you put your open bracket 0, 0 equals 5. And then you can just reference them like that. So just always put your first element, second element. And then equally we can just put message box, and then we're going to put out my second array 1, 0 plus my second array 0, 0. Press play on this, and then that's coming out with 15 because it's added them together. And you might be thinking, what happens if I reference one that hasn't been assigned a value yet? So let's put in my second array, and let's put 3, 3. And notice then when it came up, it actually tells you what your index things are with it once you've declared it, which is really useful. And let's get rid of the start. Excellent. So let's play this. So you might be thinking this was going to error, but what it actually does is because I've put them as doubles, it's automatically going to put the value of them as 0 if I ever try to reference them, because it's going to initialize it there. So that is how you would use one-dimensional and two-dimensional arrays. In the next tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use three-dimensional arrays. So thanks for listening, and I hope to catch you in the next tutorial.